Hello, my name is Milton Hunt. For the next few minutes, I just want to share with you some principles that my mentor, Dr. Preston Bruce, shared with me some 40 years ago that are still relevant today. The first point Dr. Bruce would always share with me is he would say, Milton, you must change the way that you think. And I often thought, what's wrong with my way of thinking? And he would say, well, let me give you an example. He would say, when life gives you lemons, you make what? And I would say, lemonade. And he would say, how about maybe when life gives you lemons, you take the seeds out of the lemons and plant them and create an orchard. Therefore, you can feed yourself and others for the rest of your life. Well, I began to think I wasn't real fond of lemons, but I understood the concept. The next one he would ask me oftentimes about changing the way I think, he would say, Milton, is the glass half empty or half full? And I obviously had the answer to that one. I would say, it's half full. And he would say, no, it's running over. He would remind me of the abundance and the blessings in my life. And he would tell me, your cup runneth over. Dr. Bruce was quite a wise man. So the first principle was, he said, Milton, you must change the way that you think. The second one, and this one I struggle with quite often, he would say, you have to read, but be careful what you read. He would often give an analogy that went something like this. He would say, what goes in here changes here and affects you right here. What goes in here changes here and affects you right here. The reading habit. Don't just read to read to learn. Be a person that craves knowledge. Dr. Bruce shared with me over many, many times. You will become what you put into your mind. And just read. I couldn't encourage you to develop that habit even more today. The third point, he would say, be careful of your association. You know, he'd use all the cliches, birds of a feather flock together, and he would say all these things. But this is the one that always got me. He would say you can never outgrow a sphere of influence that you're trapped in. And when you're the smartest person in your group, it's time for you to get a new group. He was always pushing me. But it was in such a polite way that I just appreciated that he wanted me to grow outside my comfort zone, to become more than I was. The fourth point, and this one I got to tell you, I struggle with this one. He said, Milton, you must love people unconditionally. Folks, let me give you my definition of love and how I learned love, and maybe some of you can relate to this. I remember growing up, Joey was Italian, lived across the street, and I would go over to Joey's house, and oftentimes I would see the family embracing. I'd see them kissing and hugging, and they would hug and say, I love you. And man, I thought that was the greatest thing. So I decided I was going to go home, and that night I was going to ask my father, Dad, do you love me? Well, as I walked in the house, folks, I saw him sitting there, and he had just got home from work. My father was a painter, so he had these clothes on that I could definitely identify where he had been that day. And I began to just lean over the table and say, Dad, do you love me? Folks, when I tell you the plate that he was eating from slid to the center of the table, and he stood up very slowly, and he looked at me, and I'm wondering what in the world's going on. All I asked him was, does he love me? And he said this, I'll never forget it. He said, the lights are on, aren't they? The shoes are on your feet, and there's food in the refrigerator. And that day I learned what love was. Love was a condition. I've done this, so therefore you love me, and I've shown you I've loved you. I think that was kind of his way of expressing how he loved me. But let me tell you, that's a love based upon conditions. That's not a love based upon unconditional love. So Dr. Bruce would share that with me all the time. You have to love people unconditionally. The fifth point, and boy, this one, I'm telling you, I struggled with this one probably for about some 20 years. And that was changing your attitude. Because I thought I had a great attitude. I thought that everything I was doing was right. If you didn't think so, just ask me. I would tell you I'm right. And oftentimes I had to learn it was changing my attitude, changing my approach, changing my thought process, changing the way I viewed things. So those are my 5 points that I just want to share with you. Dr. Bruce was a tremendous mentor in my life and just shared those with me, and I just wanted to pour them out and give them to you. Hey, listen, he would often say this in leaving me every time. He'd say, Milton, I believe in you. Those are the most powerful words that you can share with someone that you love, someone you're associated with, and someone you know. Hey, look, my name is Milton Hunt. Keep succeeding, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.